We're going to talk about stocking up alcohol for your preps or for SHTF and why you would want to do that. One of the big things that I'm a proponent of is taking common everyday items that have multiple purposes and going through them, using them, because you can't have everything, and to adapt and to be able to think, really helps in a lot of situations. And that's one of the things that liquor really fits. There's a multitude of different things you can do with liquor. Many of these things I had never thought about before. But there are a couple of things that you need to consider first as far as reasons why you would not want to stock up alcohol. First and foremost is those that may have a tendency to be an alcoholic, to drink too much. The one thing you don't want to do is to be in a drunken state when an emergency happens. And that's really important to realize. You may not be able to resist the temptation, and having a big stock of liquor may just be too much. Second thing is there are those that have moral objections. And, I understand that because I'm born and raised a Baptist, and still am, and understand some moral objections. But I also know that most of the people that go to my church have some, rock and rye in their cupboard, and a little honey and lemon. So, there are some definite purposes, not just social purposes, but things that these come in handy with. And we're going to talk about those. Now, of course, my typical way is to demonstrate a lot of these things, but we're not going to do that just because of the nature of what we're talking about. Now, there are a number of different sizes of containers, a number of different materials. We have the glass right here, and then we have plastic. One of the things that I like about plastic is that it's a lot lighter in weight. It's not going to break, and you can transport this a lot easier. But one of the problems could be is that glass will resist a lot more pest. The plastic on the lid is actually harder and going to be harder for a rodent or something to get into. And, I haven't seen that as far as, rodents getting into something, but I do know that my lawnmower, we just had it repaired because squirrels got up into it and chewed up the wiring. So, and I'd read where a guy said he had liquor preps and they got into some different rodents. So, that's one thing to consider about plastic. But personally, I do like plastic a lot better. There are a lot of advantages. I think for long-term storage, though, I think glass is going to be a better option. So for me, I just figured, do a number of different mixes and, for different purposes, because I may be traveling. One of the big things about alcohol, though, to me, is medicinal purposes. And that's one of the things I want to cover first is just the medicinal reasons. Now, again, I've already mentioned the rock and rye, the lemon and honey. Great for coughing, for coughs. It's been that way for years. The old westerns where, the guy's out on the trail and he gets shot and they're treating him. And one of the things they'll do is they'll pour the liquor over his wound. They'll give him a big swig. They'll stick a stick in his mouth and they'll, pull the bullet out or the arrow out. And that's definitely something that is to consider. As far as how effective it is, it's better than nothing is the way I look at it. And then there are different things as far as disinfecting the wound. It's definitely something to keep infection down. And so that's really important as well. Liquor can be a sedative. If somebody's really keyed up and stressed out, having a couple of swigs, can definitely bring the stress level down. And obviously, again, with the painkiller, it's something that, it's not prescribable. I mean, you can get it as long as you're 21. And so it's great to be able to put that together. One thing, too, is swimmer's ear. And a lot of times, I know we take alcohol. We have a pool. And a lot of times, the kids will get swimmer's ear. And you can pour a little bit of alcohol in their ear, and it actually dries up the water. That's really good. Toothaches. That could be also something, you have a nagging toothache. That'll help. And then mouthwash. Now, you put vodka in your mouth as a mouthwash. It's not necessarily going to be your breath, but it's going to definitely be something that would, kill bacteria and things like that, especially if you don't have regular water or toothpaste to be able to keep your teeth clean. So those are just some things about the medicinal purposes, which I think really is one of the key elements to me of storing up liquor. Now, another element is for barter, and that's one of the reasons why I like the smaller containers. They are portable, which is great, but these can be a lot easier to barter. if you have a large bottle like this and you have something you want to barter with, you may have to give the whole bottle to someone, and it costs quite a bit more. It's larger, it's harder to stock. With the smaller bottles, you're able to trade this for something, even as a gift for goodwill. It's something that you can give, in a tough situation to help your neighbors or whatever. And so I think as a barter item, I would definitely go more with the smaller bottles. A lot of guys have talked about mini bottles, which, that's a small little bottle. It's easy to transport as well. But liquor has always been something that is very tradable. And so it's something that in an SHTF situation, which it may not be available, and people that really want to drink, this is going to be an excellent barter item. There's just no doubt. Of course, that also leads us to the different types of liquor. And here I have some vodka and then some whiskey. A lot of people prefer the light, and some prefer, the darker liquors. So having a mixture could be good. But one thing too is different brands. And of course, the Jack Daniel's is quite a bit more expensive than the Jim Beam, or the different type liquors. So, that's also something to consider. Of course, this is more premium, but really to me, again, in an SHTF situation, I think I would stock the cheaper a little bit better. I think it's going to be a better option. One of the things I read, which I thought was pretty interesting, was if you buy cheap vodka, is to run it through a water filter, and it makes it a lot better. It just makes it really a much better vodka. So that may be something, that just to run it through your water filter, and it could probably clean your water filter as well. Whether it's rum, gin, whatever, preference you might have. Or, again, I think that when we're trading, I think that people are not going to be too stuck on certain types, but they could be. Now, this is Everclear, and of course, it's 190 proof. So it's 95% alcohol. This is grain alcohol. In fact, it's flammable. And that's, of course, all these are flammable to a degree. So, but the Everclear itself really stands out to be very versatile. And really, if you're going to drink it, you need to really cut it down. Because, this can really get you drunk very quickly. We're going to pour a little bit right here just to give you a little idea of the flammability. And here we go. Yeah, it burns very hot. One of the things about this too as well is not only for an alcohol stove, and I started to demonstrate it with the stove, I just didn't have my tubing and everything. Now you can see how the flame is really burning. One thing that I read also is this could be used possibly as a Molotov cocktail type thing if you're trying to defend your property or defend your position. And so this could definitely be something that you could consider as well, rather than using gasoline or fuel. Not that I'm endorsing those who want to do that, but, in a defensive situation, it could be something that you could use. You can clean your instruments if you have dishes. You don't really want to use your water if you want to clean your silverware, especially if you're out in a trail situation or something like that. And you just want to use this to, sterilize or clean. I think this is going to be a great way, especially if you don't have soap. You can, put this on your dishes, on your silverware, and be able to clean it. Now, water purification is another thing that we want to touch on. Alcohol is not a great water purifier, but it can be used and it can kill a lot of the nasties. But this is something that would be limited. If you didn't have other ways to filter your water or mainly to purify your water. Boiling your water is definitely the better way to do it. It can actually improve the taste. If the water has a bad flavor to it, this might even improve the taste. But one of the best water purifiers, though, traditionally is wine. It's 3 to 4 times better as far as a water purifier than your standard liquor. And one of the advantages to wine is because typically, they're left in wooden barrels. And the wood itself has properties that will actually help sterilize the water. So that is something to consider. There's a lot of research that you want to do before you really do it. But as a last-ditch effort, this could be really a great option. One of the things, though, too, about having this is the traditional method, the obvious reason why alcohol is so popular. It's something that really puts out a lot of goodwill. As long as people are being moderate, and drinking and having a good time, it can relax a situation in a large group and just make everyone just have a better spirit, a better outlook. So, that you have to measure that with what it is. But, it could be something, that, again, it can be used as a gift, bartering, medicinal, cleaning. I mean, there's just so many different things you can do with this, and I'm sure there's a lot that I've missed. But at least, hopefully, this will give you an idea for something that might be, an area that you need to brush up on and to fill some areas that you are inadequate in. Of course, if you're alcoholic or if you have moral objections, just don't do it. But otherwise, I think it's something that could really be successful in your preps and used for a multitude of different reasons. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic. Now I think I'll take me a couple of swigs of this. But of course, another thing for your preps or... Of course, you know how to keep a Baptist from drinking on a fishing trip? Just bring along another Baptist.